Hi, so my name is Giselle, and today I will be talking to you about my IELTS speaking experience. So, first of all, I would like to say that everything in this video, the thoughts that I will be telling you are mine. It is my experience, so I'm not sure what others went through, but I decided to make this video because I know a lot of Filipinos want to take the IELTS or need to take it for their job, for studies, or for immigration. I thought that I should make this video to help you guys. IELTS that I took was the general training kind. Sign up with the IELTS given by the British Council in Taguig because I saw a video and saw that their health protocols were pretty good. So my test was last Thursday. I arrived at the Curve building in Taguig, and at 11:10 I went up to the 7th floor where they had a registration table. So I showed them my passport. They also took my photo. The man said, "Is it okay if we have your test early?" And I said, "Okay, sure." And so I tried my best to remember all the questions that were asked of me, and then I'll recreate it now. Right now, I work, I'm a teacher. Right after college, when I had my practicum, I decided that being a teacher is something that I wanted to do for a long time. I would say the most challenging part is dealing with difficult parents. Sometimes there are parents who are very challenging to interact with. I'm definitely an evening person because I'm most productive at night. My favorite day would be Saturday because that's when I don't have an alarm. I'm from San Juan City. To be honest, I would prefer to live in San Juan because it's small, it's not as polluted as Makati or Taguig, and we have a good number of schools in our neighborhood. Yes, I dislike change, and so I would like to stay here in the Philippines. The best thing about our country, I think, is the people. In my travels to different parts of the world, I see Filipinos as warm, pleasant, and hospitable. We're always smiling, and you can spot us a mile away. No, I don't really know much about our history because I just don't have an interest in it, to be honest. The tester gave me a laminated card with a situation, and she told me you have 1 minute to think about your answers, and you're given a pencil and a sheet of paper to write down any notes. And then after a minute, she makes you throw the sheet of paper and then asks you to start. So the situation that I got, it said in the sheet, think of a situation where you had to give advice to someone. What advice did you give? And how did the person react or respond to the advice that you gave? The first thing I came up with was a work situation. And so I tried my best to answer all the questions. And then after 2 minutes, she said, "Okay, your time is up." And then during the 1 to 2 minutes, she didn't say anything, so she was just listening. And then after that, she had several follow-up questions about giving advice in general. So she asked, do people ask you for advice often? What are the instances when you have to be thoughtful in giving advice? Who would you seek advice from? What are the characteristics of someone who can give good advice? And so I said, I can think of 3 characteristics. So first, you have to be empathetic because you have to be able to feel what the other person is feeling. It can help if you can put yourself in the other person's place. Second is you have to be logical and know the consequences of a certain action. And then I also said third, you have to be able to be skilled or knowledgeable in a certain task or a certain topic. Would you take for advice? And I said yes, especially if it's something that I'm not so knowledgeable about. Would you consult someone who has experience? And do you think there's a difference between advice and counsel? After the 15 minutes, she said, the test is over. You may now leave. And so I said, thank you, and left. Right before the test, they are going to make you place your bag in a locker. And the only thing that you have with you is the pencil and your ID. So in my case, it was my passport. So after the interview, I was a little off because I felt like there was a part in the test when the tester was debating with me or arguing with me already. And I noticed that I took a defensive stance, such that I crossed my legs and I turned my body away from her, which is what I usually do when someone is arguing with me. So I felt that was really off because they're just supposed to ask you questions and you're supposed to answer, and they should assess that. So I felt really off after the interview, and I was puzzled why she would engage with me in that way. But, I just shook it off and then I left for my lunch. So, to be honest, to those who want to take the IELTS, I suggest that you take it with a different company just in case, you don't want to get the tester that I had. She reminded me of like a tita who was like masungit, if you could call it that. And it was also difficult because she was wearing a mask and her shield was also tinted with a slight color, so it was very difficult for me to maintain eye contact with her. In my opinion, I think it would be best, maybe, or better, if you take the IELTS offered by the other company, which I think is IDB. So I'm in no way affiliated with them. So this is not also a sponsored post, but maybe you'll have a more friendly or a nicer tester there. I just hope better results than I did. So I'll flash on the screen the results that I got. I was a little puzzled because I got a 7 over 9, so that was also my lowest score. The others were 7.5 and then 8.5. I have no idea how they assess the speaking test. I also don't have the rubrics. I don't know any testers, so I can't get their opinions. When I compared my speaking ability to those other YouTube videos who got a level 7, I felt that my skills weren't similar or parallel or consistent to theirs. I also made it a point not to use any fillers such as or even kasi, which is, I guess, a common error that you can make. I remember at one point in the exam, I tried to mirror the tester's stance and also the way she was speaking. So I consciously uncrossed my legs and then I faced my body towards her And then I leaned forward and put my hands on the table and tried to speak like she did. So that's also something you can do. You can mirror your tester's stance and the way he or she speaks. Another tip is you can also have mock tests with someone. So you can have conversations about a specific topic. It was very fast paced, so the questions come right after one another. So thinking quick also helps, but having practiced answers, I think that can also help. Just make sure that your answers are accurate or right for the question. Maybe questions about what you do or where you're from. You can have ready answers for these already. And my last tip also would be to not be intimidated by the tester. They can appear that way, but it helps if you go in with confidence right away in how you sit and how you speak, and make sure that your voice is loud enough to be heard, because there is an acrylic partition during this speaking test, as well as you have to speak behind a mask and a face shield. So make sure that you speak clearly and loudly. So I hope these tips help you in your test. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll try my best to answer them. Good luck!